Just been sitting here quiet.
That's what I'm talking about.
Waiting on you.
What you got your hands in your pockets for? He's over
cold.
he's over there playing,
hide.
yeah, he's playing pocket pool.
It's freezing up in here.
Turn the camera, he's got too much space on. Yes, this way, I'm sorry. Slow, go, that's good. Go back toward him, just, there you go, right there.
That was from my invisible friend.
Okay, so we are live right there.
We are live. Oh.
And he has a doll and an invisible friend up there. If you see these strange movements, there's, look, you see the lights going by.
Oh, carry on.
Well, if you can't tell, we've got a new location. We took 2 weeks off for the holidays.
Yeah.
And I hope everybody had well, you can tell he had a great holiday season.
So did he.
So did he. He just got that coat on the
That's
cover.
right, black and.
Hold on.
I put my black.
As you can tell, I had a not so great holiday, you know.
So anyway, here's the deal. I think we'd already talked about having to move out of our old office. This guy loves it over here because it's almost walking distance from his house.
5 minutes.
And we're preparing another place, but in the meantime, Burger King, Chelsea, Alabama, gave us a room, free. All I had to do is buy one drink. Yeah. So I will say, Burger King in Chelsea, Alabama, the manager's a super guy, and what's his name? Robert. And if you're if you're anywhere in this area or willing to drive to this area, he needs to hire you. He needs some help. And from best I can tell, he'll be a super guy to work for. So just want to give him a plug since he's given us this room here. And so we thank you, Robert. We're in a room, he can't hear me. So anyway,
Somewhere out there.
good news from all over the place. He's gotten 2 audio books out recently. One of them from his Crimson book.
Crimson the Blood Pain, then the Legends of Indian Narrows, which was the book about my childhood neighborhood and the ghost stories there. That's the audio is going through the approval process.
Yeah.
So we're waiting on that.
Let's get Robert in here and give him a plug. Can you give Robert? He's right here. He's right here. Just take a chance, stick his head and tell him we're giving him a plug. Try to get some people to apply for jobs.
There you go.
I mean, it was nice of him, you know. And while I'm doing that,
Yeah, that was nice to, especially for free. Buy a drink and room free.
yeah, Robert, we're streaming live to a lot of people, and I'm giving you a plug to help you find some
You
labor.
gotta go on the other side of the camera.
And you need to. One thing, can you raise the camera? It's showing too much of this fat belly. So, Robert, I don't know what she told you. We call ourselves Abnormal Alabama.
Awesome.
So, if you haven't noticed, we are abnormal.
No, I mean,
Sounds more so
let's just
than
put it
others.
this way. I have seen,
There's something.
yeah, I think that somebody's gonna really come to drive through.
Oh, just step over here and say,
I have
wave
seen
and say hello.
they're coming to drive through.
Just wave at the camera. You're right here streaming all your patient there. You're too tall, bro. All right, Robert. Thank you. Come here to Chelsea, Burger King, Robert. He needs help. Not mental help. He needs some labor. All right. Now, go back. We were talking. I just saw him.
I just mentioned Legend of Indian Narrows. It's going through the audio approval process, so it's not released yet. But it's been a few weeks now, so hopefully, since Crimson's released, it's just days apart when we submitted them. Hopefully, this one will be released maybe later this week. They'll get the approval done and get it out by the middle of the month or so, hopefully.
So, a couple of questions. The Crimson book, how lengthy an audio did that make?
It's 7 hours.
Are you kidding me? Have you listened
It's
to
7
it?
hours. I listened as she was posting them for me to approve. And I loved it. I've had people compliment, say, one girl said, "Oh, I could listen to her voice. It just soothes." And Lynn R. Thomas, very good voice actress. Wonderful.
Mm-hmm. So the next thing is the one you did.
Yeah, I did that myself. I don't know if my voice is that soothing, but I did do a fun.
I wouldn't. It's not obnoxious. I don't know about soothing.
It'll be fun to listen to because I get a little dramatic with my readings. So
He's a drama queen. I mean, drama king.
King, man. Try my Burger King.
By the way, if you haven't listened to us before, Kevin Kane, My Haunted Dolls, myhauntedDolls.com. He now has 11 books published. He now has 2 audio books out. So, or one of them's out, the other one's going through the approval stage.
Yes.
So check that out. It's on Amazon, or actually, he would love to just send you the book himself. Because I learned one thing important. If I order my books from Amazon and I sell them, I make more money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm into making more money. So anyway, help the guy out. I'm trying to help him to be able to quit his job. Now, we're planning a couple of things. We're going to do some live streaming on the 18th from Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
Sherry?
Oh, yeah, Sherry.
He forgot.
No. My mind went to Days of the Dead. I'm skipping.
Oh, I'm getting
Sherry.
to that. Sherry. And
Sherry.
then February the 9th, the Sunday.
It's that Sunday,
7 days
right
a day.
around in there.
Yeah.
That Sunday we'll go, and I was gonna go have some fun and get some autographs.
All right, well, we're going to
Kathleen Turner will be
be
there.
prepared to give autographs, not just get them, because we're going to pump you up too.
Oh, you gonna pump? You gonna stand
Well,
there
I
talking
don't
to
know.
masses?
Not being imported in new shirts,
I
I'm
hope
not
I
going
don't.
to pump you up more. Some people, and
It's like the
I've been
most
promoting him for a year now, and some people get big-headed. It went a different direction, but anyway.
That's the big
Okay.
fat popcorn kettle black.
I'm gonna get you guys some beanbags. So
All right. Okay.
Get some of the things, nerve things we can hit each other.
Another thing is, before I forget this, he's got a YouTube channel, My Haunted Dolls, Kevin Kane, on YouTube. He needs you to go subscribe. He's
Yes,
this
I
close.
am.
Now, this is the fascinating thing. He is this close to being able to go out in public with his cell phone and live stream on YouTube. So if you think his face is pretty now, you ought to see him when he's live streaming from his phone.
There's 968 right now.
Man, you get it real close.
70,000 people watching. Subscribe.
Subscribe, hit the- Are you okay? So then on the 18th, we're taking a little journey, just a day trip. It's not only we're going to do some walking around where they filmed Walking the Dead, or Dead
The
Walking,
Walking-
or
the Walking
whatever.
Dead.
Walking Dead.
You can get as close to as you can get is the railroad track, and you can see where Alexandria is, and as far as the police will let you get.
That's fine. I've got a
So
drone.
you get to kind of, you're gonna drop.
Yeah, we'll
Let
fly
them shoot
over.
it down.
We'll fly over it.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so that's only part of the day. The rest of the day, Cherie, if you think this guy has a lot of dolls, he ain't got nothing compared to this woman. And she was on our show, and let me tell you what, I thought that I was a talker. Ho, ho, ho. This woman can talk.
She can.
Yeah.
You can just let her loose and
So
she'll give
anyway,
you a whole show.
we're gonna make some video to put out, but we're also gonna do some live streaming.
Yeah.
And it'll probably be on Facebook, because neither he nor I are in a position to live stream on YouTube yet, because you people haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel.
We can do Facebook Live.
We're gonna do Facebook Live, yes. All right, next, we're going into February, the first weekend of February, or the second weekend of February, which is the 7th, 8th, 9th. And this guy is the chauffeur. We're taking a trip to Atlanta again.
Are you coming too?
She may be in the
You want me
hospital.
to?
She's maybe in the hospital.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
She's gotta have some brain surgery this time.
Brain surgery.
Yeah.
Is he teasing or is he?
I know my brain's working, but I don't remember that.
Yeah, well, I wasn't supposed to tell you. but
If y'all want me to come, I'll go.
All right, so we're gonna take this trip to Days of the Dead. Now, we're working on trying to raise the funds to get the booth. If we end up getting a booth, would you like to come and share the booth with us?
If you can do it. Well, for my Days of the Dead.
Yeah, Days of the Dead.
Because Days of the Dead, I got my nephew's birthday that
That's fine,
Saturday.
we don't want you.
And that Friday, something going on. So that Sunday was the only day I could go.
If we get a booth, you can give us some of your books.
And yeah, if you want to do that,
Yeah, we'll do that for them.
Of course.
Okay, all right, so those two,
hurry up, because they might be ready to take.
will help us raise the money. Go
Oh, you ain't got the money.
go get on 280 and sell yourself.
We just
Okay?
show the leg.
Yeah.
I
baby.
don't do that.
Well, it's probably like me that paying to put his clothes on. All right, so that is this side of it. Remember, 2 special Sundays coming up. Wait a minute, is the 18th on a Sunday, or what day is that?
That's a Saturday.
On a Saturday.
Yeah.
2 special weekends
Yeah.
coming up real close from now. Stay tuned because we're gonna be posting that all over social media as we go. And there will be special videos to back that up that we will put on YouTube. Okay?
And the
Next,
Patreon account.
Huh?
And the Patreon account.
and Venmo too. Okay? We got all kind of hookup. We will take your money no matter how you choose to give it to us. We can take Square, we can take PayPal, we can take Venmo, we can just however you want to give it. Cash,
Yeah.
take cash, okay? So if you want to help out needy people, the reason that we have this wait is not because we're wealthy, it's because we can't afford to diet. Okay? It's expensive to eat good. So you see, we're in a Burger King right now. What do you think? All right, now I promoted him. Now I got to talk about the special thing that happened to me on New Year's night. What a New Year's present this was. That's when they put my book on sale. Was New Year's night.
Look at you, New Year's night.
New Year's night. So guess what?
New Year's night.
Dating the Dead is now for sale. Already sold my first copy. This kind of frustrated me because somebody went and bought my book. They've already got it. They got it yesterday. I'm still waiting on the ones I ordered. But somebody got on there and ordered it, and they got theirs yesterday, and I'm sitting there saying, I ordered a bunch of them, and I haven't got them yet. It'll be here Monday, so I'll have them next week. But anyway, Dating the Dead, and what better venue to promote this book than Days of the Dead?
Well, yeah.
You know?
Or if not, Scarefest in September is a big paranormal event. And they're just now starting to take tables. So they
Well,
fill
where
up
is
for a
it? Is it
while.
Atlanta here?
That's in Lexington, Kentucky.
Are we going to it?
If you can get a table, yeah, I'd go.
How much
I
a
haven't been in
table
a
is that?
while. Gosh, it's, oh man, that might have been like $350 or
Oh,
something.
that's not, I mean, if we split it, I mean.
Yeah, you can split it. That's,
Yeah. I mean, I'm willing. I don't need that much space. We may sell some t-shirts, but mostly my book,
mostly books.
you know? So anyway, look out. We're going on tour with our books. I've learned a lot from this guy right here because I've done all these things last year for these conventions and whatnot. And he's the only one that made any money the whole time. So I'm focusing on books now. We had fun, regardless.
Is this on Facebook streaming?
Yeah, Abnormal Alabama. Right? Yeah. You see it?
Let's see.
Facebook, Abnormal
I was
Alabama.
gonna share it on my page. I'm making look at the wrong thing. Here.
Okay. What is, I don't understand that this is locking up here.
Here it is. It's here. All right. I went on the wrong thing. All righty. I'm gonna share this on my page.
Got it. Okay, that went. All right. Okay, so that's the news we had. But Robert's back. Robert, here's the manager of Burger King.
There we go.
Come
That's on my
and
page.
squat down next to Big Man here. There he goes.
Nice to meet you guys.
You're on
Alabama.
YouTube, you're on
I'm
Facebook.
abnormal too. It's
He's
okay.
abnormal too, and I love your haircut.
Okay.
But he needs help. You need labor, right?
Yes. If you know anybody that lives near Chelsea, Alabama, I would appreciate it if they could come in and either fill out an application online. I think it's BK.
What's your phone?
Man, I can't remember the
Website.
website, but the store number is 8098. You're looking for the store in Chelsea, Alabama. It's the only Burger King in Chelsea, Alabama.
On 280.
Yes, on 280. You guys have yourselves a very beautiful day. You guys are very beautiful people, and guess what? Everybody is abnormal in their own way.
Especially if you're from Alabama, right? Robert, again, thank you for letting us use this room.
Thank you so very
All right.
much. You guys have a very beautiful day.
Thank you, sir. All right, so we got to get into the plug, right?
Yes.
I think it'd be a good boss to work for.
I think so too.
You know?
Seems like it.
Yeah. So, all right. So we get all the promotion stuff out of the way. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we get
I'll
started?
say, speaking of that, boy, at lunch today, I guess I don't know if I can say the name of the place in case I get in trouble, but
No, you won't.
we had lunch at a fast food, not a Burger King today, where the sign said underneath management, and boy, we went in there, me and my coworker, and the manager's up there trying to run the register and run back and forth to get orders. She said 2 people had walked out. And one of them, while we're sitting there eating, one of them came back and got into a big fight with her.
Oh, Lord.
And before I could whip my phone out and get some action, they moved out of view. But I thought, man, but when you're not like Robert, when you're a screaming, shouting manager that, with a lot of nasty attitude, people aren't going to want to work for you.
No.
And I've been there. I've had some. When I first started working at Walmart was my first job. And it seems like the better jobs I got, the better the management was. But I've been there in retail / fast food is kind of like retail.
Okay, Ashley just got your phone number, so she may be calling. I don't know.
Okay.
Ashley, if you're joining us here, let me send her another message. And make sure, I guess she's already joined over there, but it should not.
She is.
Okay. All right.
Was,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
there, I want to talk. I don't know where. I can't remember where it was though. I've been watching on YouTube a few times now. Where this security guard that used to work at a cemetery. I think he still works there at nights at a cemetery. Caught some, and he was not a paranormal investigator. or anything like that. He caught some activity in the cemetery he works at, and mainly in the mausoleum. It's this huge mausoleum. It's got a chapel in it. It's got the hallways of places where people are entombed. It's not one of these smiles, a huge one. And the lights kept coming on inside the chapel. And he could see them outside. He started recording. And he goes inside and he's walking around. He said, "Anybody in here?" And then you hear this little boy's voice say, "Hello." And he could hear it audibly, and it was on the recording. He said, "You're not supposed to be in here. You need to show yourself." And then the voice came back, "You know my mommy?" And he starts walking around, and at one point he went around a corner and you could see the little shadowy shape of a little boy. You couldn't see a face or a head. All you could see was the shoulders down, standing there just kind of weirdly. And when he panned back around, there was nothing there. There's nowhere for a real person to just disappear to. It's a mausoleum hallway with nothing but coffins on each side and no doorways to disappear into. And he was legitimately scared in there. And then he went into the chapel area, and then the little boy's voice said, "No cameras in here," while he's videoing. And he says, "I need y'all to come out." And he thought somebody was playing a joke on him. "I need y'all to come out." And all of a sudden you hear I think it was the pew started shaking up front. Then you hear the little voice singing, "Ring around the rosy." He takes off running. He peels out of there. And what's really creepy is he's running and he's still filming. It's like the voice is following him until he got far enough away. And I mean, he posted all this on his channel. And then he got in trouble. People who had loved ones buried there got mad because you could see the names of people on the tombs. People started calling the cemetery, making it stink. And so he had to remove it. He left the video explaining, kind of used some choice phrases about the situation. But I want to say after a while he left the job because he didn't want to be,
So he caught this little child in the mausoleum.
Yeah.
And the question is, was there a little child buried in the mausoleum?
Probably so. This was a lot of people in town, probably different ages. And I would assume if there's a little boy spirit, there's probably one there. And, you want to look for it. It's probably fake, but just the way he reacted to the fact that this thing was there and you couldn't see a head. It was like only part of the body appeared. And then where could it disappear to when you turned around? Now, I guess, there's ways to fake it, but something about that just really stuck out to me. I like that video. And, the voice was so creepy.
So you do like I do. You spend a lot of time browsing through YouTube videos.
Well, at nighttime, I got
I don't even watch TV.
One
I
of
just
my-
browse through YouTube.
One of my Christmas gifts was a big screen TV because my
Was it
littler
smart TV?
Yeah, my
Okay.
smaller one, which wasn't quite as smart, was about eight years old now, and it's starting to give out. So now I got a bigger screen, smart, and I can get everything without having to use my Blu-ray.
So if anybody's gonna be looking for a nice little house, it's gonna be coming up for sale before long, because he's got to get into a bigger house. He keeps getting new up. In fact, he's taking, what, 3 or 4 more dolls on with him tonight.
I know.
And now he's got a TV that's bigger than his living room. So
Somebody gonna want to live there after haunted dolls have been there. I dread people coming in on a walkthrough. They're gonna see all these dolls and they're gonna leave.
yeah. Hey, you guys, thank you for watching. This is the first Tuesday of January 2020.
Yeah.
And so we're proud to be, we took a couple of weeks hiatus because of the holidays. He has a lot of family, they have a lot of festivities, and plus he sleeps on his days off, so
He's not gonna deny.
I sleep a little late, but I keep staying in bed.
anyway, so anyway, we're back. We did get out of our building, and we have graciously, while we're preparing another place for this to take place, Burger King has offered us this private room.
This private Wi-Fi
Yeah.
room.
So we're set up here, and we thank you, Robert, for that. So if you're in the Chelsea area and you're hungry, come by and get a Whopper, okay? And if you need,
That Impossible Whopper's fantastic. It's made out of vegetable.
oh, is it a veggie burger?
Yeah, and it tastes fantastic.
Does it taste like a burger?
Yes, you can't tell
I'm
the
gonna
difference.
try that.
That's what I read on the way home.
Yeah, I'll
I've
try
tried a
it.
few already. That way you can eat fast food and don't feel too bad,
Yeah.
bad about it, you know.
Ashley, who we talked to last year, had messaged me on Facebook, and I tried to tell her that she can call in if she would like. Hadn't heard from her. Don't know exactly what she wanted, but feel free. The number I messaged you would be the call-in number, and we'd like to talk to you and get some updates. Real quick before we get into
Yeah,
this little
we do have
baby here, I just want to say
On here.
my book, Dating the Dead, which I didn't promote as much as I promoted your crap.
Oh, come on.
Dating the Dead, and if you want to get a tease as to what the book's about, I've got a website called datingthedead.com. It kind of gives you a feel. It's not a dating website. You're not going to find your ghost on this website today. So don't go there thinking, ooh, I want to find me a handsome ghost.
But we could put together that in the day.
If you want, we will help you secure your ghostly date, if that's what you want. But this is really, my book is a compilation of stories of people that have had relations with the dead. Now, do you call yourself a ghost hunter or a paranormal researcher?
I say paranormal investigator.
Can we make sure that that's not, what is it, necrophiliac
There's necrophilia.
in your book?
No, it's there's another word in the book, and I never can pronounce it. But anyway,
But we're not talking about having sex with dead bodies.
well, I'm not.
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You were talking about dating the dead, having relationships with dead
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
I just wanted to emphasize that it is not about people having sex or dating dead bodies.
Now that little town in Indonesia,
Mhm.
they have some interesting things going on with the dead bodies, but you're gonna have to read the book.
Okay.
They dig these bodies up every year.
Mhm.
They dress them up. They reconstruct. If the coffins are starting to rot, they rebuild them before they pack them back in it. And they spend time with these corpses. What they do in the middle of the night with these corpses, I have no idea. I'm not suggesting anything, but I quote Donald Trump. I've heard, but I don't know. All right, so, and then I've got the bonus chapters in the end of the book, because I thought, well, this is interesting. These women that's married a ghost, and I go into even Mormons. I talk about religion a little bit, and religion's interest in deceased, but the Mormons actually not only baptize for the dead, they marry in proxy for the dead. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
That story's in the book, and it's a fact. I already knew that, so I didn't have to look that one up.
I know that. Is that in the Book of Mormon?
It's in the book of Kelsey.
Oh, we have visitors.
We have
coming.
visitors and another haunted doll coming in too.
Oh, Lord.
I'm sorry I distracted you. We'll get into the dolls here in a second.
Oh,
So anyway, the next thing is also, the book goes into Bigfoot sex. Okay, so I don't know, Susan, you know anything about Bigfoot sex?
No,
Oh, okay.
never been there, never done that. Don't have to picture it.
You want to scoot over, she's got a doll, so she's gonna come sit with us.
Okay.
You gotta go to the.
Come on,
We can hold the dog
Yeah.
if she don't want to get on camera.
Kevin, don't bite too hard.
Eh,
All right, okay, Kevin, I keep interrupting you, I talked about my book, whatnot. Who's this? Going through your dog.
Okay, this comes from one of my great friends, Angela Fisher, who's also got a big collection. I'm not sure if she's got as many as Sheree, but she's also got a big collection of haunted dolls, and she was gracious enough to let me adopt this one. And it is a very antique doll. I don't think this is compo. This is, or it might be. It's all, there's no fabric at all. It's all hard based here.
I gotta
Probably made out
interrupt
of
you,
some
something
wood.
that just hit me, I've never asked you.
Uh-huh.
And I've got to know. Have you found that any of these dolls have real human hair?
Some of mine do. This one I think is real.
I just never thought to ask that before, but that hair looks like human hair.
A lot of these older dolls had human hair, and I've got one at home. And some of them, they made those little couple of dolls with the teeth. Some of them have real baby teeth in there.
Well, you know,
give to from their
back early on, for dentists, for teeth, they would actually take teeth from corpses, recently deceased people,
Yeah.
and then use them to make false teeth for Susan over
For me,
there. So if you were wearing a real human hair wig and had a corpse's teeth, you might be possessed. I don't know.
you probably come without it.
All right,
But,
but I had to ask. I never asked if any of his dolls have real human hair.
Yeah, this one I've got a compo doll at home. It's got a human hair wig on. Hold her up closer so you can see her. It's a bride doll. Two things people are always creeped out about with dolls: clown dolls and bride dolls. And this one, the story behind her, we just got a little bit. Angela was able to get a little information. It is a young woman who's spiriting this doll. I keep getting the name Agatha, and I asked Angela, she said, "Well, I got Agalia." And she's either French or German. She comes from Europe. And she was, apparently had some sort of a title. She was from royalty. And she was somewhere around 18 to 22 years old, around in there. So we're talking about a young adult woman. When I did an EVP, it was Spirit Box. I didn't do the EVP part.
You know the difference.
Yes, I can. It's all electronic voice phenomenon. So, when I did the Spirit Box with her and that baby doll I had last time, because I'd gotten them both at the same time, she was very quiet. The other one was just chatting on the Spirit Box. She was very quiet. I think she's sort of a quiet type person. She kind of keeps to herself. So maybe Angela can only get so much from her, and she's hoping I get a little more. So we'll see. I haven't seen this doll move. The baby doll, that I had a few weeks ago, that one, her head turns sometimes. So she's got two little girls spiriting her. They like to play. But that's Agalia / Agatha. I think her American friends maybe called her Agatha. Maybe that's why I keep hearing that.
So you think she's French or German?
It's either French or German.
Because Germans tend to be more pale. She's very dark skinned.
Well, the doll itself isn't from, I don't know if it's from Europe, but the spirit that's haunting it was European descent. This doll, I guess, is an American doll, but it's from.
What's wrong with her fingers over there? That's strange.
Well, it's old. Yeah, they made them weird. This, I think, is like there's wood and she can.
You need some WD-40 there.
This is probably at least 1930s.
Okay.
So she's very.
There's actually some in this room older than I am.
She's very antique-ish.
Yeah.
This one's fascinating.
Okay, so Susan Bearden, Wooten. What last name you use?
You better say the right one.
Strictly.
Oh, Strickland. Okay. I'm sorry. She's got a long list of last names. All right. She brought in this lovely creature. Cute face. I bet that's got those. See, remember the live one we did? and his dog was sitting there. You saw the video in the middle of the thing. The eyelids started going,
Yeah.
and then they moved. You remember that? Yeah. So what's the story here? He handles these dogs better than I do.
I get to hold
Look at that. There's a human hand. Did I lose a hand?
And it's too dark anyway.
So give us the backstory here.
I don't know a whole lot about her. Her name is Mary Bell. My sister gave her to
Mary
me.
Bell.
She got her from an elderly lady. I'm not sure where. And we have had some lights go off in them, Mother says, and we've had some doors open when nobody else was there. So,
Okay, well, let's do an experiment. You feel like doing an experiment?
That's fine.
Okay, so you connect with this dog. We're gonna be quiet. He's a sensitive. Okay, so we've done this before. He's pretty good with this. So we're just gonna be quiet. Everybody bear with us. He's gonna do a reading here of this dog, see what kind of backstory he can find. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the spot here, but then we'll see what
Oh,
happens.
come on. You're a very talented man. Extemporaneous reading.
Sometimes they
But if it
shout
don't,
around.
sometimes
She
it
doesn't
works,
know.
sometimes it don't. But it's, you wanna try it?
Yeah, we can, I can sit here a few seconds, see.
Get some background music.
Mary Bell, huh?
I'm sorry.
I feel like it's a little child spirit. Is that what y'all think? Yeah. Not much older than a baby. Kind of like a young. But not quite. Not quite toddler. I mean, a little bit, not quite past toddler age, but not like yeah, baby, you know. Yeah, I keep seeing keep thinking like a little laughing girl running around, kind of. She laughs and she waves and she's playful. I know that. And I kind of got a little girl with kind of shoulder length brownish hair wearing this little white night dress, or I don't know what kind of dress. And
any
I heard
feelings
the
as to
word.
what happened?
I heard the word, as you were just saying, I heard the word penicillin. I don't know what that's got to do with. That's got to do with something about eating and penicillin.
If you dated this dog, what era do you think it's from?
not a clue. Let me see her. Holly.
I thought maybe they're hard for me to tell. I mean,
Is
sometimes
there anything written on it anywhere?
I think it may be 1950s or.
See, the first thing that he does when he gets a dog,
45.
when?
Ooh, I don't know that. 1945.
In the middle of the red.
Oh, it says
She's
20, it says 2545.
1925 and 1945.
It says 20-5-45 or 43. It's a 3.
Right in the middle of
43.
Korean War.
Yeah, that's one where they put instead of month day, they put the day,
Day,
month,
month,
and year.
Mhm.
It's probably 1945.
So at least the first part of the 20th
She's
century.
18, man.
So did you feel anything? You said penicillin
Yeah, penicillin. She kept.
and food.
I said penicillin and kept putting her mouth up like this. I don't think she was sucking her thumb. It was like she was eating something. And the best she can communicate. She's so young.
Now, who gave you this
I
dog?
kept seeing the lights
My
turn
sister.
off and on.
And where did
That's
she
what
get
I was
it from?
doing, was telling you.
She
I
got her
could
from
see
an
them now.
elderly lady.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where.
Yeah, she's playful. She's
So-
probably flashing
so
those lights.
What other
She's
besides
curious.
the lights going on off? What's that?
Doors open. And then.
Doors opening? Is your house level?
Yes.
Probably not.
Had a lot of water, but it's some.
Yeah.
Mary Bell.
So did it close too, or just open?
No, just open.
Just open.
But the dog does not like
This dog.
Yeah, he kind
You have more than one dog in your house too, don't you?
of, dog,
Dog, D-O-L-L.
D-O-L-L.
You have,
Yes, I have one that I had when I was 8 years old. for
And your
Christmas.
dog doesn't have a problem with it, but does with
But
this.
that one,
And how long have you had this one?
couple, maybe a month or so.
Okay, so it's pretty new and
Yeah,
dogs still don't like it.
Mm.
If you put that dog on the floor, what would the dog do?
he would back away.
He won't go around. What do you think about that?
Nah, I don't know that. I was about to say, I brought one dog last year that I told y'all about that my friend Wanda got from the thrift store. She's sensitive and Native American, and she kept getting drawn to that doll, and some told her she had to go back and buy it for me, and it was only like $3 for this beautiful doll in great condition, and it plays music. But she took it home. She got these two big old ferocious dogs. I don't know if it wasn't Doberman Pinschers. It might have been one of them. Might have been a German Shepherd. Another one was another type of dog. I'm not sure. Might have been a mix, but when I came, she wouldn't let me in the door till she got them in the rooms up. I mean,
Yeah.
big old dog. They are ferocious. They protect her. But as big and tough as they are, she would pull that doll out, and she did it while I was there. And she'd hold it down to them, they'd and get away. She said, I've never seen them react to anything like that. They're very tough dogs.
Hmm.
And that doll, that's the one that when I got home that night, I was sitting on the couch with my cat, and I had the doll standing up on the couch. And I sat down, the cat curled up, and we're sitting there. All of a sudden, the doll's legs flew out, and she sat down. And I was like, okay, have a seat. I'm sorry. Shit, that's an active doll.
Put these two dogs together up here.
Yeah, I wonder if that,
Let's see if they have any interaction with each
that
other.
would be pretty cool.
So you might have to change the camera a little bit lower
Yeah,
because
that
it's
could be a little lower
Yeah.
to see her. Mary Bell.
kind of focused on that building up now. A little bit lower, a little bit lower.
I keep hearing Mary Beth
There you
too.
go.
I don't know if that's.
All right, then. There you go. Get me out of the picture. I don't need to be in the picture. All right. So now,
Chickening out.
welcome everybody to the Star of Night Show, Kevin and Kane. What's going on, Kevin? So what'd you do New Year's night? Did you go party?
New Year's night, we just had a little family time. I had to work New Year's Eve. They didn't let us off early, but I got off my usual time, 4:30 or so. And we always used to. We had these big bonfires every year that my brother-in-law's cousin would throw at her little lake house. But she's moved that to later in the year now because people are showing up for New Year's. So I usually, I'll do something with my sister. We do that for Christmas Day. My dad and brother came out. So we have our Christmas Eve and Day and New Year's Eve times. Basically, we don't do a whole lot of partying. Just I'm done when that ball drops at 11 o'clock. I know we still have an hour here after that. But when that ball drops,
One of the last things we did at the old office building over there was to have a Friday the 13th
yeah,
movie watching. And that was great. That was a good movie. Which version of Friday the 13th?
that was part 3.
The only thing is that I didn't have the remote to my Blu-ray player.
Yeah, so you get to watch
Yours
the
was not
3D.
Blu-ray player. But we still enjoyed the heck out of it.
Yeah.
So we may do some more of that this year. It don't even have to be Friday the 13th for us to do that. But that was fun. We're working on some deals. There is what we call the blue house.
It's the gray house.
She's repainting it to the gray house.
I want to call it gray house.
And the land is a creek that runs alongside. So she's called. Okay, we have more company over here. Come and say hi to everybody in the cyber world. And get down beside Kevin and wave at the camera. See that these people are watching all around the world right now. This is a future superstar. She's a Miley Cyrus wannabe. She don't look like Justin Bieber, so she wouldn't do that good. So do you like haunted dogs?
They're creepy.
Creepy.
Yes.
Are you saying he's creepy?
Yes.
You have it from the mouth of a young lady. Kevin is creepy.
I'm not creepy. I thought she'd come here to
All right.
tell us.
So guys, be watching these two dogs, see if there's any interaction. We have had this happen live before. So anything's possible. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Well, they were coming to tell us something when she came in and said, I want to get you.
just,
Elizabeth woman.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so that's the story of these two guys. The house that we're gonna, it's just some things we gotta do. But it's really just right down the road here. Not far. So we end up on the side of town.
Still 5 minutes from my house.
Yeah, much better than where our office was.
So I can just get in the car and go.
We have a phone call from someone.
Okay, let's see if this is Ashley.
Hello? Hey. Are you ready to go live?
Yes, you know who it is. That girl down there.
Okay, I'm gonna turn the speaker on and let you introduce yourself, okay? Hold on.
Is this Ashley?
No.
Oh, somebody else. Oh, okay, is that, Ramona?
Yeah. All right, Ramona, go ahead.
Hey guys, how are you?
Terrible, how are you?
I'd be much better if I wasn't headed towards Atlanta right now, but I'll be okay.
Hey, aren't you with your husband?
Pardon?
Aren't you with your husband?
No, I'm having to go pick him up and bring him back to the doctor and then bring him back to Atlanta tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Well,
One of the big old things that DOT has for you to do.
oh, I forgot. He's just on a training mission this week, yeah.
I barely understand this one.
That's okay. Okay, you called in because you've got a story to share, right?
Well, I don't know if it's actually a story, but a friend of mine has contacted me today, and she calls herself sensitive to certain things. And here about the past week and a half, she's been getting bite marks and scratches and actual blood being drawn. And she can actually sit there and watch it happen in front of her. There'll be no one around and a bite mark will show up on her arm. Or she can actually see it coming down her arm. She said it started about 3 weeks ago. She got a text message from someone. The name that popped up was a friend of hers years ago. But the telephone number didn't match the person. Well, she got this telephone call, a text message. Exactly what the text message was, I'm not sure, but she said that she was talking with a gentleman outside of an apartment building, and she said, I've got a weird text message in it. I don't know where it's from. And he goes, what's the number? Just joking around. And when you gave him the telephone number, it was the telephone number of his wife that passed away a month before.
That's where the text message came from?
Right. The telephone number was actually his wife's telephone number that passed away a month before.
Had the number.
But the name popped up as a friend of hers from, I know it's crazy. The name that popped up on her phone was a friend of hers from Mobile, where she's from. Well,
So the caller ID from the text showed that it was a friend of hers from Mobile, but the number had belonged to her.
didn't belong to the friend, no.
What had
Actually, the telephone number was the guy, her next door neighbor's wife's telephone number that had passed away like a month before.
so had they disconnected the number after she died? What happened to the number?
That I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. I even been to ask her that.
Okay.
But that's when all of it started. It was about 3 weeks ago. She was, little things like scratches and stuff, and then over the past week, it's gotten worse. So she woke up this morning, or she woke up this morning with bite marks. And then this afternoon, she was sitting there, and bruises and bite marks. You can actually see them start to come up right before her face.
Did she feel
And there was
anything?
no big concern ever her.
Did she feel anything?
She got pictures and films of it, but she sent me some of them, but I've not been able to exactly look at them. Because she sent me
Yeah,
them while I was
no.
driving.
What I was asking was FEEL. Did she feel it?
Oh, no, she didn't feel it. She said I didn't feel it. I think I didn't. Nothing. She didn't feel. All she saw was it coming up.
So this, all you guys or they believe it all has to do with the woman that died.
And that's what we're trying to figure out. Right. Okay. The numbers, I told you the telephone number came up as a woman that she went to school with her years ago on her ID. This woman that lived in Mobile. Well, as a point, she decided she was going to call her friend, this girl back, and talk to her because she hadn't talked to her in a while. And evidently, what's happening to my friend is happening to her also in Mobile.
So, but this lady that died did not live in Mobile. She lived up here.
No, she lived here in near Alabama. Yes, she's not living in Mobile.
Okay. So there's no way that her number could have got sent to that woman in Mobile.
No, there's absolutely no. My friend, we'll say when she had not talked to her in years, like 4 or 5 years.
So they weren't even in communication with each other.
They were not even. She had a telephone number, but she was not in communication.
I got you. Wow. So what came first, the text or the bite marks?
Like the text was the very first thing that happened.
And then the bite marks started showing up.
And then scratches and bruises started coming up.
How long has this been going on?
It started, the text that night came in about 3.5 weeks ago. And then about, then she started seeing scratches come up. And then the bite marks and the more sinister stuff started coming up over the past week or so.
So it's pretty new activity. It's pretty new activity.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand you. It was kind of breaking.
This is recent activity. It started recent.
It's happening, been happening over the past 3 weeks. Yes.
Okay. And the lady died a month ago?
No, what she would have done, well, say, it started 3 weeks ago, so she died almost 2 months ago.
Okay. How old was she and how did she die?
How old was she when she passed away?
Yes.
The lady passed away? I would assume probably, because the gentleman, I think she said he was like in late 50s, early 60s, her husband, so I would assume around that area.
And what did she die from?
Cancer, I believe. I think she had cancer. She had something, a terminal illness.
I got you. Okay. So are you going to follow this story for us?
I am. She's wanting to see if you guys can come out and help her get rid of it.
What did she say?
One of them would come out and help get rid of it.
Oh, we'll be glad to. Kevin is good about this stuff.
I'm not a demonologist.
No, we will do what we can. I've had a lot of experience with this sort of thing. The house is in Montebello?
Yes, well, she lives in an apartment.
Okay.
And the man, the woman that passed away's husband moved in with his daughter that lives next door to her.
But it's an apartment complex.
It's an apartment complex, but the gentleman, he lives next door to her.
Is he having any activity?
As far as I know, it was told no.
Okay.
I'm just wondering if maybe having some, sensitivity towards what's going on, or or if it could be something more to it,
Well, can you give her Catherine's phone number and we'll follow up and talk to her and go from there?
I can do that.
Okay, so Catherine can expect to hear from you and we'll go from there. I don't want to give out any names of this on the show. So.
No, she's pretty shaken up about it. I mean, she's not. She's scared is what she is. I think she's more nervous about it. I mean, she said I've had experiences like years ago in other houses, like with ice cream stores, that stuff like this I have never believed in. She said I didn't believe that they could do anything like this to a person. And she said I'm a big time believer now. So I said, okay.
I bet.
I told her that I would call and let you guys kind of know what was going on.
Absolutely. So get all the information, share it with her and share it with Catherine, and we'll get together and interview her first privately, and then go from there.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Good to hear from you. Be safe on the road.
I am almost there. I'm about 25 miles away.
Oh, you're getting close.
All right, be careful.
Tell Kelly we said hi.
We'll talk to you later. Thanks a lot.
All right. Bye-bye. Okay, interesting experiences.
Yeah.
So the woman died about 2 months ago. And I couldn't get it all. Was that her sister that got the text? Who was it? Well, was this
I
lady?
think she said her sister.
So the lady got her text from the deceased lady's phone number, but the name that came in conjunction with the phone number was a friend from Mobile that hadn't had any communication with her for a few years. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What in the world was that? Look at those lips.
They're chapped and they're driving me crazy.
So anyway, be interested to follow up on that.
Yeah.
And then she started about 3 weeks ago. Then she started having these marks appear on her body, which is something we've heard of before. But those shoes comfortable? They look comfortable.
Yeah, these are loafers.
I'm sorry, but he always looked for comfortable shoes. When you know.
I got
These are
hungry,
just
so.
good old
Yeah.
Walmart shoes.
Do you want something to drink?
No, I'm
Drink
fine.
good? Okay.
I don't know why if it was the husband of the older woman passed away, why would she be scratching and biting?
Well, that's why I was trying to get to the determination of unless there was something going on in that household that
Yeah.
But that's why we got to interview them and talk to them and whatnot. People, and I appreciate them sharing stuff with us, but a lot of people don't understand that the key to any kind of investigation or whatever you're doing in life really is to learn to ask the right questions.
Yeah.
When I went to university, I had a professor who told me to go out and buy a book called What Smart Students Know. And the summation of that little book was they know how to ask the right questions.
Mm-hmm.
So I never forgot that. And I've been asking questions ever since. I'm still as stupid as I ever was.
We have the book.
I got it for bugs. It didn't really, so don't quit asking questions.
No.
You learn more. Anyway, so the doll's names is Mary Bell and Agatha.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Agatha. That's easier
Yeah.
for me to say than that.
So we speak, we're in Alabama, we speak English. Not very good English, but we speak English. Homemade English. But did you know, speaking of Alabama, our way we speak, we speak more like the early English did, believe it or not. Our speech is more like the ancient English, if you go back in history. We speak more of the original, if you will, the way we talk. Unbelievable, but it's true.
I just thought we all
I
sounded.
read it on
so
Facebook,
good.
it's gotta be
I
true.
know old, and I took old English.
Well, you're talking about, when they speak bold English, they're talking about,
That was more the
16.
Chaucer view, but do it.
yeah, that was, that's like King James Version English. Nobody, at one scripture in King James, Jacob sod pottage
Mhm.
means he made soup. Anyway. All right, interesting stuff, but the lady never called us. Ashley never got back with talking to us. I don't know what she wanted. She just messaged me, but we had to call. That was a friend of Catherine's that shared an experience that hopefully we'll follow up on. And we've been doing this for about an hour now. Kevin Kane,
Yes.
myhaunteddogs.com.
Mm.
Susan, she brought Mary Bell. And we're watching to see if anything interesting happens.
You need the lights flicker. I guess there's a switch in here.
Fascinating thing is that in the last short little while, he's produced 2 audio books. He's now got 11 books published. And one lady did one of his audio books. He says it turned out to be 7 freaking hours long.
Yes.
And that was the one on Crimson, the haunted painting.
Yeah, Crimson, the blood painting.
Blood painting, that clickbait book.
And only for Alabama.
And and then he did his own audio.
Legends of Indian Narrows.
It's not for sale yet, but it's being an approval process on the Kindle or audio books or whatever.
Yeah, ACX is what, which I don't know what that stands for.
And then my New Year's Eve present, when I got up New Year's Day, in the middle of the night, they had put my book on sale on Amazon, Dating the Dead. And you can learn more about that if you go to datingdead.com. She's already read one book. And it's a compilation of stories. And if you can't find a flesh and blood mate, we'll have to find a dead person. Not really, but But that's what ghost hunters do, and people don't get it. What are you talking about? It's like EVPs. You're trying to talk to the dead, and you're going to act stupid when I say dating the dead.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you won't even talk to real live human beings, but you'll go out. Is anybody here? Talk to me. And this one spends the night in his house every night talking to dogs. It's like, okay. Mary Bell, are you there?
I've slept in haunted mansions and haunted hotels.
And he's even had a haunted cat experience.
I have my own haunted cat to go with my living cat.
I have a rabbit.
I'm talking about the one in Savannah.
Oh yeah, that one too. I forget the name they gave that cat down in Savannah.
So anyway, well, right before Christmas, we got into some Christmas storytelling, and that was fun. And all that stuff is still on Facebook and YouTube if you want to go back and listen to our shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
But we're coming up just, what, the 18th? Is that just 11 days away?
A week from Saturday is when.
We're going to take a day trip
Mm-hmm.
on a Saturday to Atlanta to see Cherie. And she's got over 600 haunted dolls in her house. And we're also going to go just a short distance from her house and take a walking tour of where they filmed part of
The Walking Dead.
walking. So he said we can't get to the whole place, but I have a drone.
Yeah, you'll have a
We're
streak there.
gonna fly over.
He's gonna get arrested by then. If
I see the cops coming, I'm gonna hand you the remote.
You might see, I don't know when they film. I know when I was down there with her, that was summertime, there was some filming going on, and we were driving, she swore she saw Andrew Lincoln, who was the star of that show, surrounded by people talking to him.
Was he the sheriff there?
Yeah, he left a year ago, I guess.
Oh, some of them have died.
Yeah, they kill them off.
No, I'm not talking about on the show. I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, some of them in real life have
Yeah.
died. A couple of them I know have passed away. I know the older guy was on there back in season 2.
Yeah, that old guy. He's been on there for a long time too.
Well, he was on season 2, and then
I
I
just
don't know
hadn't
how
watched
long he stayed on there. I know he started season 2, but
I've seen the first episode.
So
I
see,
watched-
there's a version, and a lot of people don't know this, but there's a version of Walking Dead in the Bible around the Jesus story. So when Jesus was put to death, okay, the minute he took his last breath, and this is in Matthew, the dead rose from the graves. There was an earthquake, the dead rose from the graves. They walked the streets of Jerusalem.
Yeah.
And they were the walking dead. Yep. Am I right?
Yeah.
Why do they miss that when they do the Passion of Christ plays and whatnot? Because to me, that would be the most fascinating part. It's like, oh, I'm dead, you know, and then all of a sudden an earthquake and all these zombies come up out of the graves.
You know, they're so good. Gotta be careful what we show.
Have you ever read the Bible? There's some neat stories.
There's some very bloody stories in there. I joked about when I got old enough to read the Bible. So I've read the Bible straight through twice in my life. And I said, boy, they edited out a lot from my childhood Sunday school.
Don't talk about it.
David and Goliath.
Well,
And all these little songs. We said, oh, read the Bible. There's the one story about the two women, one kidnapped the other's baby.
Eat my baby.
And they were already in front of the king. He said, all right, we'll just cut the baby in half and give one half to the mother.
Yeah.
And then the real mother
There was
panicked and said, no, let her keep it then. And that's when the king knew.
I love the story about Lot and Sodom and Gomorrah. When you know, God sent the angels and said, hey, we'll burn the town down. Y'all need to get the hell out of here. And so Lot got his 2 daughters and his wife. They get on the hillside. The town's being struck by fire and sulfur. Lot's wife turned around to see the house burn down, right?
Mm-hmm.
God didn't like that. He turned her into a pillar of salt.
Yeah.
But what happens 2 nights later? And God didn't have any problem with it.
Watch your mouth.
No, this is Bible. I'm talking the Bible's there. So 2 nights later, here's Lot and his 2 daughters in a cave.
Oh, Lord.
And the daughter says, Dad don't have a son. Let's get him drunk and have sex with him. And they got him drunk, had sex. Now, I just want to know, when they packed their stuff and left the house, does that mean they grabbed the booze out of the cabinet and took him with them? But he didn't have a problem.
Stomped their own graves.
But he didn't have a problem with incest. That's my point.
Well, you know, not everything is spelled out in the Bible. They might have had a problem.
Well, from a very realistic, if you're a Bible literalist, you are the result of at least 2 acts of incest.
Yeah.
Because Adam and Eve, I mean, you don't say anything about any daughters, they just had guys. And then what happened at the flood with Noah? It's like the family was only 8 there and they're all related. It's like somebody's screwing somebody.
We're all related down the line.
Wonder why we have mental issues, we're retarded.
Oh, he used the R word. I let that slip at a ball game one time. My sister tried to push me in. Stop. You don't say that. You say special needs. I said,
Look
when
the
I was
word
a
up.
kid, we would use that word
Look the
all
word
the time.
up.
It's slow. I mean, retard means slow.
Well, I mean, you use it, engineers use it when they're talking about certain things that's not working properly. You know, it's like, what's wrong with it? It's retarded. That means it's slow.
Yeah,
There's something's holding it back.
I don't consider it a bad word.
Sarah Palin's the one that started calling it a bad word, and everybody bought into her crap. Miss Family Values, and then her daughter had a legitimate child, and then her husband was divorcing her.
Another illegitimate.
and there's things my grandmother used to say that I got to say, and that now it's offensive. Like she used to, her way of saying a kid was cute was, oh, I could just eat you up.
And they called me a
You say
snowflake. They called me a snowflake.
You say that to a kid now, the mama thinks you're wanting to molest them
Oh,
or something.
God.
You know? Which I don't talk to kids I don't know anyway. Even at church, I'm careful. You know, I taught for 9 years in church. I was careful.
That's a super religious relative.
Mhm.
They were like super religious. And they would say mofo. I'd look at them and say, you don't think God knows what you're trying to say? Who you fooling? All right.
Do I need to translate?
What the fudge you talking about?
Yeah, what the fudge?
You know what? It took me years to figure out that's what that meant. I was the first time I was little.
That's because she's retarded.
And then my favorite is on TV when they would.
This is politically incorrect, folks. I'm sorry, but
My favorite edit on TV when they would try to edit out the GD where they say "gall darn," that "gall darn." That just sounds redneck.
well, when I grew
That's
up,
Hollywood.
I heard that all my life. Don't say TV, using God's name in vain. And it's like the Bible says there's many gods and many lords. I didn't identify which God damn it. You know, give me a break. I don't think God's that superficial anyway. You know. But anyway, so If you wanna see lightning come down, we're about to get hit here, folks.
Yeah. Let me get this way, 'cause
All
I
right,
don't want
a
to-
little over an hour we've been talking. This is Abnormal, Alabama. We have here Kevin Kane, Haunted Dolls. We have Susan, what's the last name? Oh, Strickland, that's it. Then we have Catherine.
Why he ain't
She's got a bunch of
touched
last
that.
names too.
I do not.
She even hyphenates one
Why
last name.
don't I
Wooten,
can't understand why we don't
Scott,
have those Nerf clubs yet.
I'm gonna
Well,
get that.
how's he not punched out yet? And you're sitting here in his place.
I took speaking lessons from Donald Trump. Loser, fat pig.
Good, you know how to
He just
speak.
keeps on dogging Donald Trump. I think he's got a man crush.
You
on
heard
him.
about my new underwear, don't you?
Oh, no.
Are you a Mormon?
They were talking about
I'm making underwear that have Donald Trump's picture on it, and he's doing this number.
On the butt. And she's not gonna say on here what she's doing on the front.
Oh.
No, Obama goes on the back end. He's the
Yeah.
right color.
You talk about a house divided.
Oh, Lord.
She doesn't know how she raised us.
lost our
Raise it
views.
up.
We have one left.
I raised her better than that.
I don't get it. She acts like she likes me. I don't understand it, but anyway. All right. Okay, we're gonna get away from politics and religion. Even though I've got to say, if you turn it, I'm not on camera anymore. Give me a little
Oh, we're
camera.
looking at the dolls here.
That's good. Now the dog's
Oh,
there.
now you
We're
can
all
see
here.
everybody.
All right. So, for point of clarification, when you're talking about the Bible, when you're talking about God and religion, you're talking about the supernatural.
Yeah,
That's just reality.
supernatural.
You're also talking about aliens, because God is not of this planet, he's an alien. All right? So don't get offended by any of this. When I was brought up, it was like, oh no, don't talk to the dead. It's like, wait a minute, I'm praying to Jesus.
So are you a Christian
He's
scientist?
not.
No, so are the ghosts you're talking to. It's the same thing. Jesus was human, he was put to death and became a ghost. It's the same thing, exactly, really. In fact, you get the word ghost from the Old English because they would say Holy Ghost. We now say Holy Spirit. It's the same
Holy
thing.
Ghost, Holy Spirit.
So Jesus is a ghost, your grandma's a ghost, grandma dead?
Your grandma dead? Yes, my grandmother has passed on.
Okay, so she's
Both
deceased.
of them have passed
So they're
on.
ghosts. Have you ever tried to
And
talk to your
they-
grandmother?
Not on spirit box. She's communicated with me a few times, but
Chastising you probably?
there's something about, I don't know what it is about just hang up with me. I don't know if it's out of respect. I got something makes me not want to call up my relatives on the spirit box. And that probably sounds ridiculous, but it's something about respect, I guess. That I know my mother used to tell me, don't you call me on that gall darn thing. And but she actually showed up at there's a story right there. When we did a few years ago, my team with Kim Johnston, Scarab Alabama, scarabal.com.
How's she doing?
She's doing good. She kind of, went on a little bit of a hiatus to get things straightened out. But yeah, we did a public investigation of Homewood Library. And we had a guy there that's very sensitive. He's Native American, and he'd pick up on things that would make you go, wow. And that happened with me at the library. It was only so many months after my mom died in 2007. This is about 3 years ago. It was 2016, October. My mom had passed away that June. And we're sitting there, and these people are coming through. The Homewood Library used to be a church. It was a Church of Christ. Before that, it was farmland. But the building they use as library is still it's the church. You can see where the sanctuary used to be, but they built on and added rooms. Downstairs, the old Sunday school rooms or offices and classrooms they use now. But up there where in the young adult book area near where the old sanctuary was, we're doing the spirit box. And everybody's coming through. Seems like all these older spirits, these older people that probably went to church there talking. And Blaine, the sensitive I'm talking about, he kept picking up on names. And then he's standing right next to me, and he says, "There's a few people that don't want to speak on that spirit box, but they're here." And he says, "I keep getting one loud and clear, boy, she is talking." He says, "Miss Martha?" And I went, because my mother's name is Martha, and most people that knew her called her Miss Martha, people that weren't family. He said, "Boy, she is loud and proud." My mother was loud. She talked, she laughed, ha, ha, ha. You know, she was loud.
Is she loud as you are?
And louder than me. And I mean, you could be outside. My friends and I used to go, we could be outside the house, hear her talking and laughing way up there from outside the house. And
Oh,
she's
see,
inside.
they had to be loud, 'cause they didn't have cell phones.
Yeah. And when he said Miss Martha, I just knew, I just froze. I said, "This is my mother coming through." And so I just spoke out. I said, "Mother, is that you?" And nothing came through the spirit box. He says, "I believe she just kind of coming through to say hello." And he has this angel figure that's sort of his go-to person to help communicate, that he calls it Seven.
Mm-hmm.
The Seven, is Miss Martha with you? And on the spirit box, you hear this deep male voice say, "Yes, it's Seven." And I said, I went down to the place she always said she wanted to hang out with the angels when she got up there.
Mm-hmm.
But he just started talking to me. He's like, and I remember her saying, "I'm not going to speak to you, god darn spirit box." I said, "I don't expect her to come through there," but I said, "I don't doubt that because my sister had a tough time with that passing. Because she and my mom didn't always get along." And he said, "She just wants y'all to know she's okay and that she's better." And because she was real ill, that's why she died. Gallbladder disease, fibromyalgia, and all this. She is so happy right now, but she wants y'all to know not to worry about a thing. So I went back and told I'm starting to get a little choked up. I went back and told my sister, and she just burst into tears. She started telling me about how she'd been thinking lately at that time. How, did mom know that I really did love her? I really loved her. And Blaine made a comment there that night. He said, "She wants you to know that she knows." He kept saying that she knows, that there's nothing to worry about. So,
All right, come on.
Take a breath.
All right.
so
It's very, I've, how long ago has it been since you lost her?
2016.
Okay, so it's pretty recent, yeah. I lost my mother exactly 15 years ago. And she died the day before my 50th birthday. And I had been in Canada because I had lost my wife and whatnot, and I had to take a little hiatus at a motor home. And I didn't know exactly where I was going. I ended up in Thunder Bay, Canada, stayed at KOA campground, and stayed up there for a couple of months. I saw the northern lights in the middle of the summer up there. And anyway, it's time to come on back down. I had a friend in Atlanta, and he was going to China, wanted me to babysit his dog and house sit for him when he was gone. So I went to his house, and then I called my mother and told her, I said, well, her and I were the only ones left in the family. My sister died, my dad died, my uncles, aunts, everybody was gone. Distant cousins, but they were all gone. So I remember I called my mother. I said, okay, I said, Alan's coming back, and I think I need to come see you. It's just you and I left, the family, spend a little time with you. And so I got there, and she was doing fine. With, driving, cooking, and treating, I was her baby still at 50 years of age.
That's when, I could hear a baby boy.
Yeah.
I was 39 when she died.
But that night before my 50th birthday, we sat and we watched that show where they used to have people eat insects and do all this weird stuff. What was the name of that show?
Oh,
You know what I'm
Fear
talking
Factor.
Fear Factor.
Yeah.
And it happened to
Maybe in
be
the dark.
somebody from Nashville that was on it. My mother lived in Lewisburg, Tennessee. But anyway, we watched that. And of course, intermittently the weather would come on. They said the next day it was going to rain, like 190% chance of rain. I looked at my mother because mother always got up like 4 o'clock in the morning. And I accused her. I said, you purposely get up to rattle dishes just so I can't sleep late. So I told her, I said, tomorrow will be a perfect day to sleep in. And we went on to bed. She slept on the other side of the house, and I slept what used to be my sister's bedroom. And I get up the next morning, and I saw the light on in her bedroom. I didn't walk back there, and her door was open. Her little cat was in the living room on the couch, and it was pouring and raining. And I made me some coffee and toast and ate that. And then it's like, I better go check on her. And she was dead in her reading chair. And of course, I called 911, laid her out on the floor, trying to do, I knew she was gone, but you still do the CPR and whatnot. But so anyway, bottom line is that that was when the rest of my family, having died, really hit me then. It's like they're all gone. I'm alone in the world. You know people, but it's not like your blood.
Yeah.
And,
You got us now.
yeah. Oh gosh. But I mean, the day she died, it was really interesting. The day she died, I had taken my XM radio in the house, looked it up for her stereo. She was dancing around the 40s music and all this stuff. So it was a pleasant memory for me. I'm glad that I was drawn to spend that time with her,
Yeah.
But then after that, it was like, if I wanted to go to a family reunion, I'd have to die to get there. So but you spend time trying, it's like if anybody from the other side would communicate with their living people, my family was very close, and for some strange reason, they liked me, and I think loved me too. But I never could get it. The closest I got was like, hey, I tried everything just to see if there was anything, The only thing is that day that I found her dead, it was pouring and raining. And so the paramedics were on the way over in the rain. It was out in the country, and I left her body there long enough to go open up the door to make sure they could get in. And in the rough soul of them coming in, getting her put on a gurney and all this stuff, and then they tried to work on her in the vehicle and whatnot. The cat, I thought, got out of the house. I never saw it again. 3 nights later, in the middle of the night, I'm sleeping in that house. And I hear something scared the crap out of me. The cat had been hiding in the house all that time and finally showed itself. I guess it finally got hungry or something. But no, I think that they had enough of me while they were alive. So they thought, we finally don't mess with them. But it takes a while, and you never fully recover from losing somebody. I'm a very pragmatic person, and I talk about, it's like, wait, if you believe in the hereafter, then it shouldn't be that troubling. You miss somebody, but if you believe in an eternal wherever, I don't care if you're Christian, I don't care if you're Buddhist, I don't care if you're Jewish, I don't care what your background is, but if you have the tradition of saying that when you die, it's not in, then you'll never remember this little speck of time. Eternity. You think back when you were like 10 years old, you barely remember anything. Well, just think about 5,000 years from now, what you remember about this. But we take this little bit of time so freaking, we just let it weigh on us so heavy. And I think that if you go back to the Bible again, the way Jesus explained it in Matthew 5, 6, and 7, don't worry about what you're going to eat. Don't worry about these things. And he tried to lighten your load that way with these words. I think there's some meaning to that. If you truly believe that, just keep that in mind, yeah. So anyway.
I try to tell my family, I'm the one out of my immediate family, I'm the one that's, I like to say, the glass half full, not half empty. I try to look at the positive stuff,
It's
I
hard.
mean,
It's hard in this world to find any positive.
It's, I still find I'm still gonna be happy. I'm not gonna let somebody else drag me to hell.
You're in hell, right?
I'm still gonna be happy.
Are you happy?
I'm happy.
I was thinking the same thing, Kevin.
I'm thinking of that Pharaoh song.
I'm happy.
Oh yeah.
Well, the song I used to like that I would play when don't worry, be happy.
Oh yeah, Bobby. What's his name? Bobby McFerrin.
Yeah.
Don't
worry, be happy.
We used to watch that video and laugh.
So
I got a baby
anyway,
burger.
hey, people, I'm going to bring this up again. Robert had come in here and introduced himself, and he's got a wonderful haircut. It matches mine. He is the manager of this Burger King here in Chelsea, Alabama, on Highway 280. Now, I'm not telling you to come get a hamburger because he only has one helper tonight. I'm trying to find people, if you're watching this anywhere in a driving distance of Chelsea and you need some extra money, he needs some help, big time. And so I'm trying to encourage you to, very pleasant guy. He seems like he'd be a pleasure to work with, even a fun person. He's doing all this work with one guy and he's still got a wonderful attitude. He's not sitting there saying, you know, so unlike he would do probably.
Unlike me too.
So anyway, if you need some extra money, pay those Christmas bills off. Or if you've got a lazy teenage child. Or if you've got a lazy teenage child, send them to Burger King here on 280 and show them what work is all about. I have to give them that plug because they gave us this room to pursue this in, which Kevin loves because he lives across the street, almost.
And if I should say this because we need help. I know I need help in my department. I ain't thought about this till now. If you're already an experienced professional and looking for a job, we've got openings at Kemper Insurance here in
So
Birmingham.
what kind of professional? Give some details.
Any like insurance, like claims adjusters, we're needing those. Litigation.
She wants to get away from her present job anyway.
And,
They might be. I'm not going to tell where you work. They are on the verge of having to shut the doors, so she may be desperate.
Even claim adjuster trainees make it pretty good. I know when I started out, it was the best salary I had seen, and that was in 2007.
So with a little bit of experience, what do you think starting wage would be for somebody?
I know when I first started in 2000, I mean, I'd already been with Infinity. Well, it used to be Infinity for 4 years in the customer service policy side. I had no claim adjusting experience, but they trained you there. When I started, this was in 2007. I was making like 41,000. And
I don't think I think she's at poverty level. I don't know.
It's all telephone because even though the corporation's here.
Yeah.
Well, now we're with
Well, she's already licensed.
Oh, well, and even though one of the corporate offices here now is Kemper, they've got a Chicago one too. But even though our main office is here, we don't write business in Alabama. We're handling claims from California and Georgia and Florida and everywhere, and Arizona, Texas. So we're doing everything by phone.
Sometimes they're battling lawyers and whatnot.
Yeah, and my present position, I've already moved all the way up to, but they call it continuing action adjuster, but it's basically a bodily injury adjuster who handles attorney rep trying to keep it out of the lid, get it settled. And to me, that is better because I like dealing with the attorneys better, believe it or not. Some of them can be sneaky, but at least they're looking to settle. They're not looking to drive you crazy. And regular people can drive you crazy. I mean, calling, blowing up your phone.
So just a point of reference here, this is Abnormal Alabama. We used to be in the paranormal, now we're in the human resources.
Yeah, we got off the ghost subject.
If you need a job, we got some work for you. In more than one place. You can pick burgers or you can deal with adjusting insurance. Yeah. So you need to get together with them and find out where to go, really.
Kemper.com.
You
They
need,
used to have a
you need to make more money. I need to borrow some.
Do what?
You need to make more money because I need to borrow some.
They used to have a referral program. Now they don't. Well, yeah, I don't think Kemper does either. Infinity used to. Infinity had this awesome thing where if you referred somebody, if they stayed more than 60 days, you as the referral person would get I think it was $1,000 bonus. I mean, they were big about trying to, and you would get periodic raises, which we still get those. We used to get a Christmas bonus, but Kemper doesn't do that anymore. Infinity used to. Kemper doesn't do that, but it's good. It's good pay. It's just some of the positions.
And where's the offices?
We've got two. We got one in downtown Birmingham. The one I'm at is the second office. It's here off of 459 at Liberty Park.
Which is not too far away. That's as close to where you're going now.
Somewhere else.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they got a lot of positions. I know they're opening a bunch of adjuster positions because Kemper wants to expand out here.
I mean,
Where are you gonna put all these people? Run out of parking? We don't have a whole lot of building
Maybe they'll,
space.
maybe they'll let her work from home.
is it business casual?
Is it casual?
Business cat like what I'm wearing now. We don't wear Fridays casual. We don't wear suits and ties. This is bad as fancy. And
You're not actually meeting with clients, you're on the
no,
phone.
you're on the phone doing this. And I like all the claim adjuster positions are salaried, and so go lunch when you want to, go on break when we get to 15-minute breaks, or if you just want to take it at once and do extra half hour. And
Okay.
you come and go. I mean, they want you to get your time in. They pay 40 hours a week, but as long as you're there usually prior to 9 o'clock and don't leave early without manager's permission, they're not too strict about what you get, as long as you get your job done.
She's
Show up. and get
She's
your
so
job
good at
done.
what she does that they just really, she runs the show. I mean, it's just from A to Z, but she's been kind of talking about looking for something else. so
Yeah.
anyway.
They got all kinds of stuff. They got computer jobs. Because we have technical department to help with our computer stuff. And they got other things, accounting, the policy side where you just deal with custom. Well, we don't have that here anymore. It's in California, so strike that. But they let go our customer service department.
So this is abnormal human resources.
Abnormal Alabama. We've gotten off our ghost track.
You fire them, we hire them. So anyway, we're gonna start a new website for this one. But good information if people are looking for work,
yeah,
and
you are at the new year. People need to pay off deals. So it's a
that
good thing.
your job right down her alley there. So,
Yeah.
she wants to pursue that. I don't know if I can stand working with him 8 hours a day. or not, so.
Oh, yeah, you'd be on the
Hey,
phone.
have you still got your sign up on your cubicle? It says Saint.
Yeah, it's still sitting there.
You know we made him a saint.
And my boss actually, when we got our name plaques up, he printed out one when I was away at lunch. It says St. Kevin.
So we printed up a certificate, and it's like, okay, we like Kevin. He's cool. We really like Kevin. And our church is an international Catholic church. We're not Roman Catholic, and I use the word Catholic because it means universal. Okay, non-denominational, and we're not into all the doctrine. I'm human. I could be wrong in what I'm saying. I hate to tell you, but you could be too.
I'm not gonna be wrong.
So all I can do is try to love people, Humble my body. You have to see him with these conventions with his book. I'm Kevin Kane. Have you read that book?
That's a ball face lie.
And he's up there, $5 selfie,
I do not charge for something.
$20 for 8x10 glossy. Another $5, I'll make it for you.
Lie. Wrong.
I bought a book, you
Balls.
got his autograph.
Yeah.
And that way charge you.
One of them was you bought the new one. I said I just do like.
Did you get the blood
$15.
book?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
comes in the blood.
I had got
Others
ready
like-
to, I'm finishing another book, so then that's my next one.
Yeah, the other books I got is just $10. I mean,
What?
$10 a.
Cheap folks buy his book.
That's
Mine's 20. I ain't giving mine away.
as low as I brought. I noticed when I brought it down to that, I used to try to do 20. I wasn't salesman. When I brought it down to 10, they were just going like that. And Kim did the same thing with
Yeah.
ours. People are
Well,
trying to buy, but you don't want to,
The
mess
thing is,
yourself up.
if you're selling them out of your trunk of your car, say,
Yeah, you're only paying like
you
$2 or
can
$3
do
a pop.
$10 because you make as much money off of it at 10 as you would if Amazon sells it online.
Yeah, when they sell it online, they got to get a percentage, and I get maybe $2 or $3 when it's over with.
Well, I get
Per
about,
month.
I've sold mine at 20
Yeah.
and I'm getting over $9 for mine. Of course, dating the dead.
Yeah.
Don't let me forget to bring
Maybe.
Mary
Bring
Bell
what?
home. I gotta bring Mary Bell home to Mother's.
Why? Are you leaving?
Yeah, I gotta go, because I gotta go take a school kid to
Okay.
Walmart,
Does this job
Yeah.
interest you any at all? Talk to him.
especially if I can work.
Oh,
from home.
we've got his number. She can lead you to their.
You work from home, there are jobs that you can work from
I
home.
don't know if I work in the office. I don't know if there's any. That one time they had some.
You
home
couldn't work around
jobs.
all these dogs and distract you all day.
Hey, I can do this.
You're not gonna take
It wouldn't
very,
be
very
as
hard.
fun as being around those coworkers that we gotta go to lunch with and laugh with.
But just remember, if you ended up in the office with him, every time you walk by, you gotta say, "Well, Saint,"
Oh.
and he'll have some holy water. Yes. He keeps his cubicle spiritually clean.
Uh-huh.
And he has Chucky dolls during Halloween.
Yeah,
But-
but you know.
Yeah, but you be careful, because I used to think that he only said the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Found out he'll say the name of the Son, Father, and the Son, and holy shit.
Ah, where's our censor at?
Beat him out.
Okay, all in good humor here, folks.
I'll
We've
see
had
y'all later.
peace.
Ah,
We've had Carl Green join us in the chat room for just a moment there. I don't know if he's still there or not. We do have somebody watching. We've spent another 30 minutes. It's amazing how we go through this and never run out of something to say.
ah.
We never reach a point where we're just sitting there and somebody want to talk about.
Oh,
So-
you know, we were talking about your grandparents, or your parents passing away.
Not that his dad's still alive.
Huh?
Well,
she yours
and your mom, my
Oh,
mom.
you're actually talking to me.
Well, I was
So-
going to. I need one of them things down. I want to tell you the story about my grandfather passing away. We called him Pop. He was Native American, and he had gotten throat cancer, and it eventually went to his brain. He talked through a hole in his throat, and everybody was gathered around before he died, and I was exhausted. I'd been working on the ambulance for probably a 72-hour shift, and I came home. I lived in Chelsea at the time, but I came home to see him and be with him while he passed on. Well, I needed a nap, and my sister lived next door to him, so I went and laid down in the bed, and he came to me, and he said, "Catherine, everything's going to be okay. I love you. Don't cry." And his thing was, "I love you, whole bunch."
Mhm.
And I never cried. Never cried until the funeral, and then I lost it.
Hmm.
But he did come to me, and it was like he was surrounded by a mist, and I call it a blue light. It's more like a blue light than a white light.
Yeah. I hadn't told a lot of people this. My mom, when she died, and it was really something. When she died that day, I felt her presence. In fact, I was driving home from the hospital after she'd already passed, and I cried a little there, and then I was able to get, because we knew she had been sick a long time, and she had kept saying, "Don't, I want y'all to be happy, because I'm in a better place." So I was trying to think that way, and I was driving myself. I was able to get home, but what really blew my mind, I did kind of start bursting into tears driving, is I turned on the radio. It was quiet and everything. I turned on the radio. In my mind, I kept thinking, I wonder if she's going to come visit me or let me know something, or because I didn't feel her at the hospital so much. And I turned on the radio, and all of a sudden, that song from the '80s rock song, "Don't Say Goodbye," just blasted out. "Never say goodbye," and I just burst into tears. It's her. And then the few days later, when more of the funeral, I'm getting dressed, and all of a sudden I felt her there. And I could, I didn't see her in the mirror. I could hazily see her. She kept saying she was doing the baby boy thing. She goes, "You look so good, baby boy." And I put my top, and she looked like she did a few years before, where she was really bad. Then I see her again later that day, and she no longer looks that way. She starts looking young, like she was when she was 19 or 20. I've seen pictures of her. Slim, happy, and no health problems. And she just was smiling, and we got to the funeral. See, now I'm gonna get emotional again. And I'm sitting there, have the immediate family up front near the casket, and everybody else is out there, and they had a curtain kind of blocking us so nobody could see me. But her favorite Sunday school teacher's up there singing the song she had picked out for her funeral. I just kept seeing her dancing.
Hmm.
And then these other figures showed up, and I got to look, and it was her daddy, my granddaddy, her brother, my uncle Paul, and I kept seeing this little girl dancing with her, and they were just so happy, and they just kind of faded away. I kept thinking, who's that little girl? Because she didn't have a sister, or she got 3 other brothers that are still alive. And then I got home, and then he dawned when I got home, and was looking at the pictures. That was my cousin Paula, who died. She was older than me. She died when I was a kid. She reached 20 years old, or 21. She had a baby young. He was just a few years old. She got married young. And she was on her way home with a friend, and a drunk driver swerved in their lane, hit him head on. She crashed through the windshield and died instantly. They couldn't have an open casket funeral. But that was her as a little girl. So she looked at those pictures. My mother used to always stare at it. It's like, I guess she went back to her young, happy self when she died. I guess I really believe that you can be whatever you want when you reach that, that spirit phase. I've heard many stories where people lived an old age, and when they appeared as a ghost, they were children again. Like the mistress, they call her Mistress Chicken of Rice Oak Plantation. She lived an old age of 80-something, and when she came back as a ghost, she's a little 12-year-old girl running around happy. So she didn't die as a child, but I guess for some reason she wanted to be a child again.
Well, this is, we've gone human resources, and very uplifting start of the 2020s here.
These are happy stories.
These are very happy stories. I'm getting emotionally choked up because I'm talking about my mother dying, but no big deal. But these are real stories, and they're very, very profound. You almost get me choked up. At the same time, I relive my experiences. That you know what I'm saying. And it always triggers things, but but you do learn a lot. I guess I told you I used to work at a funeral home.
Yeah.
And have you ever been to Nashville?
Yes, I've been there.
Have you been to the Parthenon? Have you been to the Parthenon?
So cute. I've been to the where?
Parthenon.
Parthenon.
The replica of the Parthenon.
No, I haven't been. I've been
You know where the Parthenon is over in Greek, it's in ruins, and they've got a replica with a big idol inside of it that you fall down and worship. All kind of other statues. I mean, he's into God, so that's why he's with me, because I'm a God. So anyway, right at the edge of Centennial Park there, where the Parthenon is Marshall Donnelly Combs Funeral Home. That's where I used to work. It's like old. It was so old that to get down to the basement, it's one of those old elevators where you have to pull the gate shut. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Of course, you walk across the floors. And of course, when was Kelsey at the funeral home, it was always in the middle of the night by myself.
Radio elevator.
I had a lady friend of mine that I called the Amazon woman. Her name was, I got to think a minute, she's dead now. She's huge, big, she had some meat on her, but she was a big woman. Maggie, that was her name. And she was a very colorful, interesting black lady, and we were friends. And so she had dropped by one night, which out of case, if you're working at a funeral home, that's a place, oh, let's go see Kelsey, you worked at a funeral home, And the way it's strange how these bodies would accumulate. Like, all these people die at one time. I'm working with paramedics. So the basement got full of dead bodies on these gurneys. We got them covered with sheets, but if you can only embalm one at a time. So kind of got a little backlog of I don't know, there was at least 7, 8, 10 bodies down there on gurneys. And it's thundering and lightning outside. Perfect story. It's alive. And so she dropped by, and I'm chatting with her, So I said, let's go down the basement. And I always teased her about this because I didn't tell her about all these bodies down there. She could not wait to get up out of that basement when she saw all that. She never really saw a body. She saw the sheets covering bodies. I told her, I said, that's the first time I ever saw a black person turn white. But, people always ask me this, it's like, weren't you ever scared? No, I wasn't scared. The only freaky thing was when you were there a body was laid out, already made up, embalmed and whatnot, laying in the casket, and it's somebody younger than you, and they look perfectly healthy laying there, you know. But we would stand around. Of course, when they had visitation, you wore your suit. You're standing there solemn, you know what I'm saying, for visitation. Inevitably, there'd be somebody walk up to the casket and say, "He looks so natural."
It is so natural.
And we would go, "He's always looked dead." So when you work around some of the stuff I've worked with, you can develop a weird sense of humor. That's why her and I get along, I guess.
I'd heard at our funerals that she's like she can just sit up and talk to you.
Yeah.
Well, if she does, you better run.
Well, I mean, no, you don't.
No, you know dead bodies can't sit up.
Yeah,
Well, no,
they
we cure, but see, they used to before we cured that. If they're embalmed properly, they're not going to sit up because there's a wire with a hook thing on it. And you go up in here and you actually disengage those muscles because what causes that reaction is the body's drying out. And those muscles will contract as the fluids dry in the body. And there was a time before they embalmed properly that the body would pop up in the casket. Hello? Yeah. But I'm like you. My grandmother was the fun one, my mother's mother, because my dad's mother was insane. But you laugh, but she was a victim of frontal lobotomy.
Oh,
and she had a hole drilled in her skull. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
some people went through the eye, but with her, they drilled through the skull, and there was a suction place right here, the size of a drill bit. And so anyway, but my other grandmother, she was the cool man. She loved Halloween. So every Halloween is like, "Hey, Mom, Dad, can I go spend the night over at Grandma's?" And she would do fun, cool stuff. And of course, I'd go over back then the scary movies with old black and white Frankenstein and Dracula movies, you know. And she would let me stay out and watch it, you know. So, but Halloween time, we didn't have all these animated figures. So at her house, the front door was here, and there was a bedroom right here, and the old windows, you know, like this. She would run a vacuum hose out the window and hide it in the bushes by the porch. The kids would come up, and she would say, "I am the wicked witch." They come out the end of the hose.
We should have talked about this in Halloween.
So anyway, we're just sharing. We're talking about dead people.
Yeah. My grandmother would give us. We'd go trick or treat at her house first, which she lived 5 minutes away. We drive over there. She'd have big old bags of candy for us. We'd take it home, then we trick or treat, get more candy. And what was funny, that made me think. There's always that neighbor. You know, you have the ones that give out. Most of ours give out the cool candy, the candy bars, and all these good candies. And there's always that one. There's one house that give out boxes of raisins. And we would joke about that. I guess that's to help us pick out the candy. Yeah. Don't go to that house. They got raisins.
They got raisins.
Those little Sunday boxes. But I like raisins, so it didn't bother me.
Those chocolate covered raisins?
No, these were just plain old.
Oh,
raisins.
I love those little chocolate covered raisins.
Yeah, I love
man.
those. What do they call those, craisins or something?
I don't know, but they were good. And of course, then you had the candy corn.
Yeah.
Which I was a kid, I liked that, but nobody likes it nowadays.
I love it.
I like to mix that with peanuts. Peanuts and candy corn.
Oh,
It's almost like a payday bar.
You like to go to movies, don't you?
No,
by
I
your
just get
diet.
popcorn. When I went to the movies, I always, in the fall, I go to AMC as much as I can because they get that fancy gourmet popcorn. During fall, it's caramel apple popcorn. And it is delicious. Some of it's red, some of it's caramel colored. And
We have to go start seeing movies and do a special show like you were talking about.
What?
You know, when we watched that movie and you said it reminded you of that show that used to be on TV they used to watch where they would talk through the movie and criticize
Mystery
it.
Science Theater 3000.
That was fun. So we have to do that, except
Yeah.
we'll watch the movie and then do a review of it. That'd be fun. So we're looking for things to do, people. We're broke. We're hungry.
We're broke, Ryan.
And we need to work. Kevin here is an awesome guy that's written 11 books.
I'll be awesome.
Yeah, well, that's only in your face. You don't want to hear
Behind
that.
the
Yeah, you
scenes.
don't want to hear that. This has been an interesting show. We've talked about haunted dogs, of course. We've talked about our books, and we've talked about the audio books, and we've talked about our families dying, and you know, it's like, oh, at the funeral, mom popped up out of the casket and said,
Oh,
"Screw you, Kevin."
man, you lie. You talk about HR.
With human resources, we got jobs for everyone. We can't find a job, but we got jobs for you.
I got a job.
He's got a
job.
job. So anyway,
They won't let me work.
you know what? You know what JOB is the acronym for?
I could probably invent one, but what?
Just over broke.
Oh, just over broke.
Yeah, okay.
That's what we used to say when I went to UAB. We call that "you always broke."
You always broke, yeah.
You, my boy. You.
Mm. So anyway, it is. We got 10 more minutes to go.
That's all.
Oh, did you want to tell us?
No, I'm surprised it's gone by so fast. I can live with
Have
10
you had
more
any
minutes.
fun?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's laughed. He's cried.
I cried.
It's been an
I
emotional
didn't-
roller coaster.
I didn't pee my pants at least.
Sure. What's that fluid?
There ain't no fluid there.
So what movie we're gonna watch next? Is there any good movies coming out the theater? Haunted, scary? Has it gotten boring?
They remade The Grudge, and I think that's out now. I don't know.
Oh, I didn't like person.
And I didn't like, the original I saw with that. I thought it was corny.
You know what I want to see? This is going to sound absolutely
gosh.
funny. I want to see Mr. Rogers.
I never watched it. I was a Captain Kangaroo. I was in the
I watched
generation.
Captain Kangaroo.
But I never watched, Mr. Rogers was a little bit later. So I didn't get him.
I don't remember much of Captain Kangaroo, which is funny.
But I've got a video on my website. Let me see if
I
I
remember watching Captain Kangaroo when I was really little, and then he retired from it as I got a little
Yeah,
older.
we're a little bit different.
I remember those
in our age.
Yeah. But it was sad because before I was even a teenager, I think Captain Kangaroo passed away. Before I was even a teenager. That was sad.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I grew up with him. Let's see if I
Yeah,
there we go.
I kind of did too.
But I did this
Well, yeah,
video.
we
You
still
got to
have
check
it.
this out.
Electric Company.
Did you like Mr. Rogers?
I never did watch him. There's something just goofy about him. We used to make fun of that. We never could watch it.
Oh, here we go. So I did a got this small screen on here that's on one of my websites.
Welcome again to this neighborhood. I'd like to show you something. What this is? Or maybe if I press this button. This is a cassette player with a little cassette in here. There's nothing written on it, so we'll just have to play it to see what it is. Do you ever imagine things? Are they scary things? Are they scary? Do you ever imagine?
Anyway, I'm sorry. I forgot about that when we started talking, but that's on one of my websites. I've got like 15 websites.
You know who he sounds like when he talks?
Who?
He sounds just a little bit like George Bush Sr.
Oh gosh, don't even, please.
Ban Quail, still getting accepted. No new taxes.
No new taxes. Read my lips.
Well, I used to do a guy. Oh gosh, I did all of them. I did him, Clinton,
Well, I used to do
Ross Perot.
I used to do Jimmy Carter, Richard Nixon, you know. Make her name with water cake. One Halloween, I was in Oklahoma, and I wasn't planning on doing anything, but I was too old to go trick or treating. I was very much an adult, probably in my 30s, and all of a sudden I got an invite. Hey, we're having this big Halloween party, and there's going to be beer and wine, and girls, blah blah blah. So I thought, man, I hadn't got anything. This is back when Carter was president. I didn't have a costume or anything. It was a costume party. I had a London fog raincoat, and I went to like a Walgreens or whatever, and I found an old man's mask. So I went as a dirty old man. I took my pants and I hiked them up with a rubber band like that. So when I flashed, I turned my back to people and all they'd see is me doing this. And my legs would look like I got nothing on underneath. And then I'd do my Jimmy Carter. Because he got in trouble. And you think they're bad. They've always been bad, but what they let Trump get by with, Jimmy Carter got in trouble because in a Playboy interview, he admitted that he had lusted after a woman. And they laughed. You don't remember that or know anything about that. Look at that, but they gave him hell over that. So I went around with a dirty old man mask, my London coat, with my pants, rubber band up to where it looked like I didn't have any on. And I'm flashing people saying, I can't do Jimmy Carter now, but I lusted after him, or something like that. And I won't tell you the rest of the story. But anyway,
He once saw UFOs, so he was abnormal.
well, he personally autographed a picture for me. You're an autograph collector, yeah. And I mean, it wasn't one of those stamped ones. I mean, he wrote out my name and everything, on that one. He's just a good man. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if you're a Trump lover or Obama hater or what. Jimmy Carter was a good man. Okay?
Yeah.
Don't argue with me.
Oh, good. He's still alive. You're still in the woods.
Well,
Any man that does all that, building homes.
let me put it this way. I don't care if you like everything he stood for or not. The fact is, he was genuine, And so anyway, go ahead.
I was just like, I haven't really
Hadn't thought about it.
heard anybody trash talking him.
Well, they used to before you were born. What year were you born?
78. So I
Oh,
was a
gosh,
baby when he was.
You wouldn't know anything about that. You were just born when he was president.
Yeah.
Then Reagan came into office.
I just know when I go back and watch those old Saturday Night Live, Danny Aykroyd doing the Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
And,
I remember Reagan. I was old enough to remember Reagan.
I can remember Reagan.
Oh,
for sure.
I remember the first debates I remember, the presidential debates,
Mhm.
was Nixon and Kennedy. I remember that. I remember distinctly very much. I know exactly where I was and what I was doing when John Kennedy got assassinated. This is how old I am. I remember growing up in Alabama, the laundromat had the signs for whites only.
Hey.
George Wallace gave a commencement address at my sister's graduation from high school. So yeah, I go back a little bit further. And people say, "Oh, that was a long time ago." I'm like, screw you.
But in reality, it really wasn't that long ago.
We're a young nation. We're 200, and all these patriots don't even know this. We're 244 years old as a nation. And as a nation, we've only had 93% of our time as a nation has been spent at war. So we love war. No doubt about it. We're good at it too. We are darn good at war. But anyway, I don't want to get too political here.
That's like the third or fourth time.
Because I'm one of these guys, let me tell you, I'm a realist. I was born when Eisenhower was president.
Oh.
Eisenhower was president. And you got to remember that they put the words into the Pledge of Allegiance, one nation under God, the year I was born. Now, some people say that I'm possibly God because they put it there the year I was born. Add to that.
We're so screwed.
you know what Aleister Crowley was, right?
I know the name. I've seen that name
Yeah, he was known as the
quite
Wicked.
often.
It's kind of interesting because not only did they put at my birth, they put one nation under God. And I'm thinking, oh, really? Okay. I'm not going to say that, but some people might suggest that. But I was born exactly 7 years to the day from the time that Aleister Crowley died. Exactly. So I'm the reincarnation of Aleister Crowley and a God. Some would say. I wouldn't dare suggest that, but some would say that. And he's a saint. By the way, folks, you have been listening to the one of only two living saints, Saint Kevin and Saint Kelsey, right here. So,
They won't
yes,
let me be a saint.
she's a saintess. Well, the last,
Like this.
so anyway, I think Kevin's gotta go to the bathroom. He's getting kind of antsy here.
No, I just,
Our time is up.
I'm getting ready to stand up.
Have you had any fun tonight?
Yes, I had fun tonight. I was sitting here bored, half asleep.
Well, just plan on next week, same place, same time.
Here in Burger King,
And,
BK.
remember, folks, if you need a job, Robert here at the Burger King here in Chelsea needs you. He's a cool guy. Seems like a nice guy. And he gave us this room, so we got to promote him. If you are an insurance adjuster, Kevin knows where you get a job.
Kemper.com. Just look up Kemper.
Kemper.
Kemper.com.
Yeah, and they're in Birmingham and also
Yeah,
over Liberty Parkway.
You had no training when you started, correct?
Right. They
What did you
trained
take
me.
at UAB?
I got an English degree at UAB because I had the whole writing thing,
And you speak like that?
and yeah, I speak like that. I talk real good.
Well, at least you're using your English.
I speak well.
Speak very well.
I speak it very well. How much I like to speak well.
Yeah.
The brown cow jumped.
Oh,
We're wrapping it up. You got any last words? Oh, okay. Robert here, the manager of this store. Does this mean
So sorry.
You're
I am so
Does this-
sorry.
does this-
I just got caught up in all the
Robert? Does this mean that we get free Whoppers for life?
Well, I will
If
say,
I could.
I was just telling him to come by and get a job. I told him, I said, I know that he's a good guy to work for because he's got the perfect haircut.
and you know what's funny? Bless the little guy's heart. I know he's new, isn't he?
He's not really new, but he's just a little slow.
Okay.
It's just I like Alan. I love him to death. It's speed. That's
Yeah.
all it is. But other than that, he will do anything that
But
I ask him.
it's
to do,
just been
that's
you
what-
and him all night.
Yes.
And y'all are
Every
kind of
day.
exhausted.
And Robert, I don't want to get too personal, but how old are you?
I'm 43.
43. This man's working his butt off.
Thank you.
And he came in
You
here.
guys have yourselves a very beautiful day. In fact,
Can we come back next Tuesday?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Anytime you guys ever want to come back and I'm here, I have no problem with it.
Thank you.
You were like,
Oh, we're gonna promote the heck out of your, we're now a human resources company.
Thank you. You guys have a very beautiful day.
Thank you. All right, guys, this is the end of the show here. We're at 9 p.m. Kevin, thank you so much for being here. Catherine, thank you for your hard work and dedication to Abnormal Alabama. And say goodnight to the two lovely dogs here. That is Mary Bell and
I'll say Agatha.
Agatha. I think Agatha Christie. Okay. And that's it, folks. So say goodnight and peace.
Peace.
Peace. It's over.
It's over.
It's over.